Welcome to Kitchen Tips with Andrew. How am I going to use something like this and this to repair something like this? Well, with this one tip, I'm going to show you how. Using a flat piece of wood, 6 little washers, 2 pan head screws, and a blade, one of those razor blades from a pencil sharpener, from a plastic pencil sharpener or a steel one. We're just after the blade, not the actual sharpener. Mark 2 holes approximately a finger width apart. Can you see that? Once you've done that, press the screws into the timber and then proceed to screw them into the timber itself. So once you've screwed them in, take them back out. Place 2 washers over each hole, like this. Once you've done that, take your blade and with a flat side facing up and the inclined side is going to face down, you'll notice that there's a raised surface on the blade, so we're having the full flat one at the top. So place it at the top like that and just sit the blade so it can bridge that divide here between those washers. And you can secure that blade with another washer that goes on top. So you'll need that last washer to go on top to clamp that blade in. This might take a bit of fiddling around, but once you get it done, before you tighten it up, just line the blade up, sitting the washers either side, and then it's ready to clamp. Make sure that you screw it down firmly enough so that blade does not move. And there you go. We now have the device that is going to be turning that PET bottle into string. Cut a PET bottle with a pair of scissors, and when you do that, make sure that after you've cut it, that you begin to cut a small slither and leave it joined to the actual bottle, because what we're going to do is put this little slither in the cutting device and proceed to turn the entire bottle into string. By placing that slither through the divide, you're able to see that it's just about to touch that cutting blade. Make sure that the bottle actually sits over the blade there, and then you can begin to draw that slither through and it will turn it into the string. Just make sure you keep the bottle upright and then continue to draw it for as long as you need. You have your broken item, you've got your string. Now let's begin to repair it. Taking the end of the string, begin to bind it, wrapping it around just like that. You can then take this piece, lining it up, and you can continue to wrap. Now that you've bound it, bind it all the way, so wrap it so it goes all the way up, and then continue to turn it and wrap so you come down, so you have this piece and the piece that you started with, and then you can eventually just tie those two into a knot. The knot doesn't have to be overly tight, because I'm going to show you with one tip how you can make this really, really tight, and you don't even have to use excessive force for the binding. You remember the shrinking Coke bottle from Kitchen Tips with Andrew, I think it was number 3 or maybe 4, Could have even been number 2. Well, with the hairdryer, you can now turn it on and shrink the binding that you've done to make it even tighter. After a couple of minutes of hair drying, and you've got to make sure that the hairdryer, it heats it up. So you may even need to hold it really close and have it on high and really close, and you'll see the string actually start to shrink. And I can't even separate that now. So there you go. Kitchen tips with Andrew. I even joined 2 pieces of timber together that can't even break. How's that for the incredible shrinking string? Kitchen tips with Andrew.